Now, on the landscape of the market, during the first half, I think, as you know, the situation in the second quarter is pretty tough, especially in April, because in April, due to the very long holiday, we only managed to be able to operate relatively only around 2 weeks at that time. But we managed to rebound again in the May and June, plus also increasing the ASP starting in the third week of May and then continuing until now. And we see the opportunity also in the back segment to increase further our ASP until December, because we see a good momentum, and also the situation in the competitive landscape also supporting us to be able to do so. The bulk also happens the same. I think on the second half, we see a continuous growth on the demand of the bulk market, especially from the projects, which I have explained to you. And we also foresee a good opportunity for us also to increase price at the end of the second quarter until the end of this year. Export will remain our focus also by increasing the proportion of our cement export. We have done a cooperation with our partner, Taiheo Cement Corporation, which they have opened up a market for us to the west coast of the US. And this year, by November or December, will be the kickstart of our export to the US market, which we already have around 500,000 ton of captive market with our partner Taiheo Cement. Now, we maintain our four main strategy to create sustainable values in the future. I think the red ocean, I don't have to explain further. This is basically our backbone on selling cement in the retail sector, and also maintaining our focus on the projects to support the infrastructure projects, property development projects across Indonesia. But what makes the difference is basically our blue ocean strategy. Now, our blue ocean strategy, we focus on three things. Number one is on the expansion of our capability to provide faster construction and more efficient construction of housing. We have this what's so-called a interlock brick solution, whereby with this interlock brick solution, we managed to be able to provide a faster way of constructing house, not only for the housing for the middle and low income, but also for a general property development in general. And number two is on our green cement product. So this green cement product already being regulated by the Ministry of PUPR and also the Industrial Ministry. And I think in regards to the hold on. I think it's too fast. Yeah, coming back. Balik lagi kan? Okay. So and I think this is the what you call a solutions whereby differentiate us with our other competitors, because the green cement products, we and Indocement are the only two that has the capability to have specific green cement products in all of the function of the products to support a construction activity. And number three is basically to provide a more sustainable business development in regards to the ESG and to support the a larger property development. And this is what we call a new milestone for us to come into a more sustainable business by going into waste management and also other green solutions. We already have this capability in our subsidiary, Solusi Bangun Indonesia. This is an ex-Holcim Indonesia, which we acquired back in 2019. We have a Nata Bumi business unit in Solusi Bangun Indonesia, and we are going to develop a waste management business under this Solusi Bangun Indonesia company. we're gonna do a fundraising in the near future to develop this. This waste management is not only doing the what do you call it, conversion of the fuel from fossil fuel to biomass of industrial waste, but also going into the upstream, providing getting the sources of the biomass, industrial waste, managing the logistic, managing all the processing up until supporting and also selling that to the end customer. So this waste management business is not only at the downstream side, but also full-fledged from upstream to downstream. And we're going to develop this capability into our subsidiary Solusi Bangun Indonesia, which we will do so starting beginning of next year. Now, on the operational excellence side, I think this is something that we've been doing for the last 2 years. I think so far the progress is okay, and we are still aligned with our program. Plus, also our decarbonization program, which already in line with our ESG framework, which we started to do so starting from 2022. And we are still in line to reduce our carbon further based on our ESG framework. Now, in terms of this strategic initiative, I think the update that what I would like to share is basically on the IKN. We already have a cooperation with Bina Karya, and we also join invest in the KLN, which is this is a Karya Logistik Nusantara, a ready-mix solution provider and also building material provider assigned by the PUPR to support all the projects in IKN. So we already have these two important footprint in the IKN, which basically support us to be able to become the main contributor and supplier of building material in the IKN projects. This is the IKN, I think as you know, is already regulated, but we still also have to see after October whether this is going to be expedited or probably will stay. But I think this is something that I think the government already has a commitment to do so, and we are in a position whereby we are already have an advanced positioning in that market. And on the interlock brick, this is like what I mentioned before. We already have a discussion, and I think we're gonna put this into the national catalog to become the main contributor of solution to provide to have a to support for the to support for the building of the national backlog housing program. We already have developed a plan in Semen Padang, and we are now this second quarter and fourth quarter we're going to develop the plan to produce this interlock brick in Central Java, West Java, and East Java. Basically, these are the area that we would like to focus first to support for the housing backlog program. And this year we already have around 500 to 1,000 housing development program in Kendal as pilot projects to launch this. And the good thing about the interlock brick, the consumption of cement can for the interlock brick is around 20 to 30%. So it's a higher composition of cement compared to the regular house, with faster production process to build a house, and also comply with all the requirement housing based on the regulation, including the resistance to earthquake and also other requirements for housing products. And I think this is one of the things that we would like to expand further, not only for the middle and low income housing, but also to the development of the regular real estates. Green cement, like I mentioned to you, we already have full-fledged of products, and this is already regulated by the regulations from the PUPR and also the Ministry of Industry. And we're not only providing a low clinker factor, but we already segregated into several products that has a function for specific purpose. So in the future, we would like to introduce to the market and industry that in order to do a certain construction activity, we don't need to buy a generic spec of cement. Let's say, for example, if we want to do a non-structural application, we don't have to buy the OPC, but we can buy a masonry cement and also a non-structural cement, which has a lower price and of course the lower clinker and a bit of lower quality. But for structural, we also have a certain product. So we would like to not only provide a low emission carbon product, but also a variety of product for certain function to make the construction more efficient in the future. On the export market, like I explained to you, we already have a cooperation with Taiheo Cement, and we focus to enhance our support for the export to the US market. So West Coast US market, the demand is twice of the supply. Plus, the next 4 years, the Olympic is going to be in Los Angeles. So the demand of the cement and building material in the West Coast of the US is very high. We already got 500,000 captive, and we see another 1 to 1.5 million ton per year captive for cement type 5 to the West Coast of the US. We already have the license and also certification for the product cement type 5 to the US market. We are now finalizing our JT in Tuban, which has specific facilities to support for this export. And we're going to finalize it this September to basically start doing this export by November or December this year. Now, on the progress of the initiative, I think IKN is still ongoing. We are actually 70% shares market in IKN. We already securing channel cement through KLN and Binakarya. Green cement, I think all the requirement is already done, and I think in terms of the regulation is already established. Now it's just how we're going to go to the market, introduce this, socialize to the ecosystem of the mason construction society, and also the developers and real estate development. Housing solution, like I told you, I think it's already in line, and we see a big potential to support for the backlog housing. And the US market, we're going to kickstart by the end of this year. So I think in general, the income per capita, the consumption per capita is low. A lot of big projects in Indonesia. There is no issue in terms of the regulation, in terms of the condition of the market, in terms of our financial resiliency. The industry also is not fragmented, right? And I think this is quite become one of the main reason why I think this industry is still attractive with the growth potential, especially with all this situation and also the demand drivers in Indonesia. And I think our positioning in the market is very competitive, benefited from the extensive distribution and production facility that we have, and also the product lines and products portfolio that we have. We also have a strategic partner, which is one of the largest building material company in the world, which has extensive distribution network globally, which has strong technology and advanced technology capability, plus with our strong resiliency. And I think this is why the reason why I think if some of you may be asking questions, the reason why share price in the industry and especially us going down, I think there is no fundamental issue, fundamental issue. So that's why I think in terms of the positioning of our positioning in the market, plus the supporting and also capabilities that we have, I think it's just wait for the harvesting time to come. I think the retail segment also in this new government will will be come back to a stronger position. I think with all the programs from the new government to support the middle income and low income with the fiscal policy will definitely be a catalyst to support the growth on the retail market. And we just have to wait for the time to come. So I think that's all our presentation. So I will pass to Mr. Satria for managing the Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pak. Very insightful sessions. And then I was about to ask you about the recent underperformance in the share price, but you already like raised about that issue. And then we like fully agree, Pak, on the like stock prices can move up and downs. But like normally, like the fund managers, the investors, we in the equity research, institutional equity, we have to cut through the noises and like focus on the fundamentals. We were very enlightened about the issues that you like presented, like many like subjects that we well, I have to admit that we have like overlooked, especially in the like growing demand for the U.S. exports market, as well as the like potential like catalyst ahead. So yeah, so like I will like manage the Q&A session from now, but so like we already have like 2 questions from the floor. So like I just like read like both questions. So like, it happens that the second question is the question that I was about to ask. The first is about the new capital development. What is the strategy in the second half, to be precise, to boost Semen Indonesia's performance, especially with the progress of the new capital? Because like we know that the acceleration of the new capital projects should materialize within these weeks, yeah, Pak, yeah, just before the Independence Day ceremony that is poised to be arranged in the new capital. But like after the arrangement of the ceremony, like after the festivities like conclude, will there be an increase in the cement demand like from the new capital or not? And then I proceed for the next question, but like the second question is related to the industry and the property sectors. So like the fund manager here asked, because they noticed that in the second quarter and in the first quarter, like this year, the property developers, they recorded quite strong, quite robust marketing sales. So like, have you talked with the property representatives? Have there been any uptick in the cement demand from the property sectors, and will this be enough to counter the oversupply conditions in the domestic cement industry? Please, Pak.
Okay, thank you so much. So the new capital city, our basically with the two footprint that we already established through the KLN and also Binakarya, our positioning in the IKN is quite strong. Around 70% of the shares of IKN we already supported. Now, in terms of the increase in the second half, basically this is just one of the driver. So as you know, I think IKN project this year consumptions is around maybe like 800,000 metric ton. But we also have other projects, right? Like the Sumatra Toll Road. Sumatra Toll Road, basically, this is the big project also. I think, and they're going to finalize the projects quite fast until 2025. So we basically focus on that, and our positioning in that market is very strong because we have Semen Padang and Semen Batu Raja. So market positioning wise, I think in that area is very strong, around 70 to 80% also. And contribution wise, I think they consume around 1 to 1.5 million ton of cement, yeah, for the toll road in the Sumatra area. So I think we don't really, depend on the IKN project, to be honest, yeah. We already have a footprint there. We already have a quite sizable market share. But again, we have other alternative, yeah. We have other projects alternative in Sumatra, in the Morowali area. That's why we spend all our capability and also network to those segments also. Now, on the industry and property, you are right. But I think most of this property coming from the inventory of property since the pandemic era. Yeah. So we still have seen quite a lot of property which is already developed but not yet finalized. And in that segments, in that process, they don't really need further cement consumption because cement usually consumed heavily during the constructions of the structure, right? So I think they're gonna finalize the remaining inventory first until the next batch coming into the play. But our focus is now actually trying to introduce this housing solution through our SEPA block, the interlock brick that I'm explaining to you guys. This is basically to provide a faster way and a cheaper way on developing a house. So and the focus is basically now to support on the backlog housing, especially the housing requirement for the middle to low income. So this is the focus that we would like to pursue further in the second half and in the future.
If I may add, normally like property, like marketing sales, I'm sure you are already aware, like after the election period is over or like the political uncertainty concludes, like normally it's going to like pick up again. So like hopefully like after this, the cement demand from the property will tick up higher again, with the assumption that like 25, the new government, the like new policies or like stimulus to the property sector again, and then people are like starting to buy homes again, especially if like interest rates are like heading lower.
Yeah. But please also notice that basically for the retail segment, the buyer of the retail segment mostly are the middle income for renovations. So most of the purpose to buy retail segment is actually on the renovation, plus also expansion of the existing housing or stores. Now, the problem is that this middle income for the last 2 years, the buying capacity is pretty much not expanding that much. So we haven't seen salary growth or remuneration growth for the last 2 years. But you see a high inflation and high increase in pricing in also especially on the basic needs, yeah, like education, transportation, F&B, all those kind of things. So what happened when you have a limited spending capacity, but the price of your basic needs increase? So that means the allowance for you to spend for housing improvement, lifestyle improvement is basically limited. And that's the reason why the retail demand went down. Because this middle income in Indonesia very sensitive to the economic situation. That's why middle income in Indonesia, I think, as you know, really needs the support on the fiscal. But the fiscal hasn't come up since the pandemic, because the pandemic, definitely the government used all the budget to support for the pandemic.
Okay.
After the pandemic, there is no budget anymore to support for the fiscal, right? That's the problem. But the new government, with the programs that we already noticed, I think this is a moment for them to basically support this middle income. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck on the middle income trap. That's why I don't think that the new government has the options not to support the middle income, because there will be no 2045 golden era, because if the middle income stays at the same level. Until then it will increase further the demand on the retail, because when the middle income goes up on the economic capability, that will also increase the demand on the retail side, which contributes 70% of our revenue.
Right, right. And just a quick follow-up. I noticed that in one of your slides, you point out the fact that Semen Indonesia increased the price for the bag earlier than the other like category. So like the bag, if I recall correctly, you increased the ASP for like 3% in like 13 provinces, and then you are expected to like follow up with another increase like 3 to 5% in those like 13 provinces.
Yeah.
So like basically, so like what justified this like price increase amid the stagnating demand among the middle class and like the others?
Okay, so now we have to also manage because we are in the business of making money, right? So we have to maintain profitability. If we have a cost push, for example, right? If we have a cost push, with all this inflation and also all, it's not only impacting all the people, but also impacting the corporation like us, right? I cannot, buy a airline ticket as with the same price as last year, because ticket prices already increased. That means it will also impact to my other costs. So that means we have to pass through some of this through ASP increase, right? Otherwise, we're going to decrease further our profitability. That's why in this kind of situation, we also have to manage how to increase price, do efficiency, plus also maintaining our positioning in the market.
Right.
In this oversupply situation. It's not an easy way. It's not an easy situation, but at least we should have like a certain standard in the industry. That's why we've been showing to the industry that this industry has to has a certain profitability baseline. In order for the industry to be sustained. And as you know, the other guys also follow us. That's why in May we increase the price. June we start increasing the price. Everyone follows, and market share wise, it's not impacting that much. And this is that we will continue doing until the end of this year. Yeah.
Right. Very interesting part. Okay, so like I just move to the next question. We already have another new question from the audience. Good day. I'm Andri from PT Pavos PBK or PH. I see that SIG dominates the entire cement industry market, which I find very intriguing, considering the presence of many competitors and the steady demand for construction and housing. Aside from the massive production capacity that SIG can provide, do you consider your company a leading industry player in terms of maintaining quality and technologically speaking?
Okay, so I think as you know, in the market, even though there are a lot of players, but if you see the concentration of the share, actually only 4 players that dominating the industry: us, Indosemen, Conch, and also Merah Putih. Indosemen and us already covers around 75 to 76% of the market. The remaining is actually Conch and Merah Putih, which covers around 95. The 4 of us already cover 95% of the market. The rest are pretty small player, and we are the leading in the industry with, I think, in terms of the coverage, the most extensive coverage across Indonesia. Now, in terms of the capabilities, the good thing is that we are not only by ourselves, but we also have our partner. So we are partnering with Taihyo Cement Corporation. They are a leading Japanese building material company, which already invested to one of our subsidiaries, Solusi Bangun Indonesia. And we have, on the back of this investment, we have a cooperation to expand the product portfolio using their technology. That's why on the green cement, the waste management business, and also the application building material products, we are not alone. So we have our partner, a Japanese company that has a high technology capability that also support us to marketing the products in Indonesia, which basically we still have an abundant demand and market in Indonesia. And to do so, we already have done several things, like I've showcasing to you guys the product variety, the green cement, the waste management business that we are also doing right now, and we will focus to doing that in our subsidiary, Solusi Bangun Indonesia. Why in Solusi Bangun Indonesia? Because again, because our partner investing into the Solusi Bangun Indonesia, that's why we want to put it in that capability in that company. So therefore, our partner can easily provide all the supports and capabilities in that Solusi Bangun Indonesia. So I think in terms of the resiliency, capacity, portfolio products, network, distribution network, I think we're there. We're already ahead of the game. Now it's just waiting for the movement on the industry demand, which I think based on the drivers that I've explained to you, I'm very confident in the next 5 to 10 years will hike up pretty fast.
Thank you, Pak. So yeah, so like for the last session of this like Q&A, we would like to like focus more about the export demand that you already like highlighted and like already like noted, because like we in the capital market noticed that much of the strong cement demand over the past 2 to 3 years because of the domestic oversupply and stagnating like middle class and the lack of fiscal space came actually from the export demand. I think you also mentioned that 4% of the increase in the portion of like cement exports, while the demand for the bag and bulk both at only 1%. So like the export are like 4% and the domestic demand is like 1%. You also noticed about the like possible increase in the exports to the like US, but like from like macro like standpoint, you might have also noticed that over the past 2 weeks, the equity markets sold off because of concerns of the potential recession in the United States. So like, what's your like takeaways about this like US market? Are you looking to like explore to like other countries as well, or the US seems to be like quite resilient, like based on your assessment? Or like, can you like elaborate? Yes, please.
Yeah. So we've been a main exporter of cement and clinker, I think for the past 10 years. Yeah. And we are the, I think in Indonesia, only 3 companies, yeah, has the export capability. Us, Conch, and Merah Putih. Yeah. Even Indocement, they don't have export capabilities because they don't have the infrastructure to do export. We have 4 points of sales for export: Semen Padang, Cilacap, Tuban, and Tonasa. Yeah, and we have capacity infrastructure to support for sales of up to 8 million ton of cement and clinker per year. In September, after our JT finalized, we have up to 10 million ton capability to export clinker and cement. We've been exporting clinker mainly, around 95% for the last 10 years to Bangladesh, to Australia, to Taiwan, Philippines, some just a little bit to China, and then some countries in the South Asia and also in the Pacific, like Maldives, like, you know, in Pacific, I think we also export to Fiji, Samoan countries, those kind of thing, right? But mainly clinker. Clinker is a middle product, right? So very low profitability. That's why this year we're going to reprofile the portfolio of export. We are finding new market to export cement because cement has higher profitability. Pretty much the same with the bulk cement in Indonesia. Plus, we gain from the forex, right? With this, increase of the USD IDR, we gain from that forex benefit also. Now, where are we finding that? We're finding that on the Australian market. We are now getting contracts to support for the cement sales export to the Australia, and we are basically currently selling up to 1 million ton of some of clinker. Now we are also spending to the cement export. To US, we see this opportunity. We've been visiting the US market, and our partner Tahio Semen there actually has presence in the US West Coast. So based on our observation, the supply and demand situation in the West Coast is over demand. So the demand is around 2.5 million ton with around 1 to 1.3 million ton of supply in the West Coast. That's why the West Coast part of the US has been a net importer of cement. The good thing is that they import cement, they don't import clinker. Now, there has been a shift of sources of cement to the US. Usually they import from China, but now because of this regulatory aspect, they no longer can import from China. That's why they're shifting, importing from Vietnam, plus also from Indonesia. Now, we are the first company that has the capability and also certification to export cement type 5, because if you want to export to the US, you have to be certified first, the product. And we already got the certification. Yeah. Now, in terms of the demand, I think because of the over demand situation, even though there is a recession, I think they will still has to import because it's 2 times over demand in the US. Plus, 4 years from now, the Olympic is going to be in Los Angeles after Paris. So West Coast of the US, they have to prepare everything. And that basically, if you see the historical based on Tokyo Olympic, the demand spiked because they have to build all these facilities, right, to support for the Olympic. And that's why our Tahio Semen Cooperation, our partner, has another batch of additional volume, around 1 to 1.5 million metric ton, which we will focus to support to the US market. And I think in terms of the export, we are targeting next year to increase our export to up to 9 million ton. This year alone, I think we are focusing to export around 7.4 million ton of mostly still clinker, but we already increased the export of cement from previously around only 10% to now around 25% from the total export portfolio.
Right. Well noted, Pak. That should conclude our 1 hour webinar for today. Just like a quick like concluding like remark from me, because like we in the Bahana Sekuritas, Pak, we compile the positioning of almost every fund managers here in Indonesia. And we noted that some of them were actually loading up on the cement stocks earlier this year and in the third quarter and like fourth quarter like last year. But because like we tracked in the month, like 2 month like the performance, we noted that the ASP is still down, the like cement cement volume is yet to pick up. But after seeing what you have presented over the past hour, I think there are more optimistic sides to this whole like cement story, and like hopefully like they would return like flocking back to the cement stocks again. So like I leave the like concluding remark from you to our like investors. But are there any 2, 3 like sentences of like concluding points that you would like to highlight to our investors to close this webinar?
Okay, thank you so much, Satria. So you're right. Cement industry in Indonesia is still a very attractive market, to be honest, yeah. I think this is in line with Indonesia's high and growing population. Also, the housing national backlog and infrastructure development initiatives in Indonesia also has been the main drivers. I think in terms of the competitive landscape also is not fragmented at all. Only 4 players covering 95% of the market. So it's an easier ride to do the business, to be honest with you. And I think from our side, we have the competitive advantage to be benefited most from this potential future growth with our extensive distribution, production facilities, capabilities, strong strategic partner with the support of the technology and capabilities, plus our financial resiliency, right? So if you see our balance sheet, our cash flow, there's no issue. So there's a potential for us to even increase our dividend payment, right? And therefore, I think there is no fundamental issues in this industry and also in our company. So it's just waiting the time to come to harvest and get a higher profitability in the future. Thank you, Satria.
Yes, that's a powerful sentence to like conclude. Like, hopefully, it would stick with the minds of our investors. So that concludes our 1 hour like webinar. We thank you so much for the Semen Indonesia participation, as well as the attendance of our like foreign and like domestic fund managers here attending. Hopefully, this will give our institutional clients insights about the outlook of the cement industry going forward. So hereby I close this webinar. So thank you for attending. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Satria.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pak.
all the Bahana team. Thank you.